Welcome, everyone, to the 2025 session in the House Ways and Means Committee. Really glad to be here with all of you. Today, just hoping to take these two little pieces of time that we have this morning, and then after the canvassing committee later this morning, if we can come back before lunch, that would be great. Just wanted to start with some introductions to each other this morning, and then talk about some sort of committee procedures and norms, and do a little bit more of that tomorrow morning. And then we'll launch into our work tomorrow afternoon. So to start, I'm Emily Kornheiser. I am one of 3 representatives from Brattleboro. We do have 3 separate districts in Brattleboro, though. And I live way out on a dirt road in Brattleboro on the edge of Guilford. I think sometimes people are surprised when they get to my house that there's no cell phone service and it's kind of hard to get there. This is my 7th year here, and some days I feel quite new and some days I feel like I've been doing this forever. I don't know if that's true for all of you, but I've been really struck yesterday about just the magic of this building and the honor that it is to be doing work here, and how much we're all here because we want to represent our communities and do good by them. And so I'm excited to do that with all of you this year. Billy, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Bill Canfield, represent Fairhaven, West Haven, and Benson. Single district now, used to be with Loudon, a double district. This is my 11th year on this committee. I'm looking forward to a busy year and collaboration and reaching across the table.
Good morning, everyone. Teddy Wozniak representing Barre City. I live right in downtown Barre. And before this, I was working for Hunger Free Vermont as their legislative policy lead, working on the Universal Meals campaign. So that was all ed fund all the time. So I'm very excited to be here and continue that work.
I'm Carol Odie. I am from the far north end of Burlington. I have been here, this is my 9th year. My first 4 years were on natural resources or environment, whatever way it was configured at the time. And I've been in this committee since, and I'm just so happy to be here and so much hard stuff to do, but progress.
I'm Rebecca Holcomb, and this is my colleague. I represent the towns of Sharon, Stratford, Norwich, and Thetford, and this is my 2nd term, and I served in appropriations last year.
And I'm Marty Feltus. I'm from Linden. It's Linden, Sutton, Sheffield, Wheelock, and Newark. It's a new district. It used to be much smaller, or anyway, I haven't remembered those 5 towns. I served for 5 terms before, and I was with Bill way back in the very beginning on natural resources and energy. And then I was in appropriations for 10 years. You came here to Ways and Means. So I've enjoyed my time on appropriations. That was how we spent the money out the door. And now I'm interested in how we bring the money in the door.
My name is Carolyn Brannigan. I live in the town of Georgia up in Franklin County, and I represent the towns of Georgia and Fairfax. And I was first elected in 2002. I think this is my 21st year on Ways and Means. I did 1 session or maybe 2 on the Ed Committee, and then I spent some time over in the Senate. Quickly saw the error of my ways. So I'm really glad. I have to say, this is a very smart committee this year. This is the ideal committee to solve the difficult questions we have this session.
Jim Maslin, Thetford. Beck and I represent the same 4 towns, but we know a lot of different people. So you'll find that we have not conflicting, but different interests in different ways of expressing things. I've been in a bunch of committees. Enjoyed them all. And I agree, this is a smart committee, and this is the place to be, actually. All committees are good, but this is the best in the I guess, right?
Yeah.
So I'm Mark Hickey, and I'm from Lowell. Now serving a 2-seat district with Mike Markle. So that's the towns of Lowell, Jay, Westfield, Troy, Irisburg, Coventry, Newport Center, and then my Lamar County County. So this is my 17th year. Served 12 years on GovOps, a couple years on Ag and Forestry, a couple years on Energy and Technology. I was talking with Emily yesterday that I have tied Brattleboro, I'm originally from Guilford. And I served a couple years on the select board in Brattleboro, years back in the 80s. So, yeah, so I'm an old timer. Glad to be here.
And I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm Bridget Burkhart. I'm from South Burlington. This is my first year in the House. The other public service I've done is I was on the school board in South Burlington from 2016 to 2022, and then took a little break to go back to my private life work, which is in private equity, mission-driven private equity. So focused on trying to bring community development to places that need it through finance. And so finance and school board are sort of my background. And I think that's probably why I actually found Ways and Means for this session. So I'm excited to be here.
Great. My name is Charlie Kimball. I am from Woodstock, Reading, and Plymouth. I served 3 terms in the legislature, took 2 years off. And I was on House Commerce and Economic Development, served there for all 6 years of my previous time. Excited to be here to work on the important questions of the day.
Hi, I'm Sorsha. This will be my 9th year supporting Ways and Means. All but one of them, all but the first year, I worked for JFO and I worked for JFO throughout the year, but this is my main duty when we're in session. So happy to be here again.
Really glad you're here. Really glad everyone is here. So our work this session is going to be primarily education finance. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone that's here. You're on this committee because we believe that you are the right people to sit at this table and facilitate our way towards a solution that will work for all Vermonters and for our kids and for our schools and for our state as a whole. That's why we're all here. That's what we're doing this year. That's our focus. We will, of course, receive bills from other committees. We will do our work with them. It's a, high traffic work, right? Almost every bill is going to come through here. We're going to need to do our due diligence and we're going to need to stay in our lane. And that's true for all the work we do. And I think all of you are going to find your way to doing that. We're all here to support each other. And I really, as the chair, I'm really trying to hold very closely the idea that we are here to facilitate a solution to this problem, not to solve the problem. And I wouldn't even say it's a problem. I would say it's an opportunity. Education finance systems need new, fresh looks regularly. And I think I moved to Vermont the year that Act 60 passed. And so I remember the freshness and the tumult of it. That was my introduction to this state and how much people cared and what was possible and frankly, what backlash looked like, right? And so as we are all here looking at what is going to be possible to do, I want us to each really be taking the time and the patience and the curiosity to question what is possible, what is needed, and what comes next. All of our state systems are held together to some degree with duct tape and baling twine, right? And that's like a Vermont ethic, right? And it's an important Vermont ethic that we can make do and make it work. And that means we have a lot of systems that have sort of bills and patches layered on and layered on and layered on in order to fix pieces of them. And some of those patches, especially in the education fund, I think our staff's going to describe it as a balloon sometimes. You squeeze one part, another part pops out. When you put a Band-Aid on one part, sometimes it makes another vent in another place. This metaphor is getting so mixed, I'm going to drop it. But I think what we're going to need to be doing is peeling back enough layers that we really understand what's happening in order to set a vision for what's possible. And we're going to be doing that with all of our colleagues in the House, with our colleagues in the Senate, with in the administration and with all of our communities. And frankly, that is not how any committee in this building always does its work. And it's not how any committee in this building always has to do its work, but it's particularly important this year. And so we're going to usually all have committee liaisons, right? Like every person in this committee is going to have another committee that they are attending to. And usually that's about just sort of tracking bills that might come here because they have a tiny fee attached to them, and then you report that. And sometimes it's bigger things. But this year, it's, that will be a significant amount of work because every committee is going to have something to do regarding the education fund. We have sort of a list of that. We're also going to ask everyone on the committee to have what the appropriations committee has always called budget buddies, but we're going to have ways and means buddies. If someone has a catchier version of that, please let me know, because ways and means buddy really doesn't do it for me.
Roll off the top.
So that every member knows who in this room they can come to talk about what we're working on, because we're going to need to keep everyone really closely informed and engaged in this. Also ask each of you, if you don't have regular meetings already set up with your superintendent, your business managers, your school board, and your teachers' representation in your communities, whether that's one school district or multiple school districts in some of your cases, sorry. Please make sure that you have those on the books and that you are doing that regularly. Some of that might be public meetings. Some of that might just be like a weekly text check-in, whatever works for you. But it's really going to be important that we're all being informed by the field. We're going to be doing our work with, I think, the best staff in the world. Is one of the reasons I wanted to work in this building, was to work with the incredible staff. They have desks here. They're going to be coming in here. They are going to be working so hard for us. And it is incredibly important that we treat them with care and respect and patience, and that we understand that they have more to do than we can possibly understand. And so please, they're here to help us. They are not bringing their own ideas to the table. And if they bring an idea we don't like, it's not on them, it's on us, right? And so we need to treat them with all of the care and respect possible. Any witnesses that we have that are coming in, also true. Especially if we have members of the public here, really encourage you to close up your laptop in those instances, make eye contact. It is a tremendous honor and fairly terrifying to come into this room. And so please, remember that. Remember what it might have been like before you were a member to come into this building and sit in that chair, right? And give people that love and attention. On that sort of thread of respect, we are very much doing the people's work this year, and a lot of people are watching us. And so to go even further into just little details, let's keep the center of the table as clean as possible. We're not going to have food on the table. If you have snacks that you brought for people, please keep it on the side table. Everyone's going to need to eat while we're hearing from folks sometimes. Please try not to. Please do your best to eat your meals when we're not meeting. We do not meet during lunch. We do not meet into the evening. The very end of the session and just at crossover will be, meeting a little bit more. But the work we do is very, very dense, and we will actually do a better job if we take regular breaks. It is not because we're slacking, it's because we all actually need time to digest the numbers and the graphs. If we are going too fast, please go get your questions answered. Don't just sit with them, but also remember we might not be able to get all your questions answered in the room with everyone here. And so make sure that you're asking questions of staff, asking questions of the administration, getting it all figured out online. Please feel free to talk to anyone else in this room. We are all brilliant people who are capable of figuring a lot out. And it's okay to have questions. Please ask them. We just might not get everything resolved all the time here. In fact, we likely will not get everything resolved all the time here. We are going to leave every day. We're going to walk out of the room with huge questions still open. And that is okay. That's how we're going to need to do our work this year. Jim, I saw you had
a couple things.
Yeah.
One is, the chair mentioned trying to stay in our lanes. There are times when we'll have, some of us anyway, wrinkle our brows at what's happening in another committee that we interface with, and it's very important. And it's important that we try to stay in our lane and work chair to chair, but to get the questions answered as best we can. There have been times in the past, way back when we didn't do that very well. I think we dramatically improved some bills, but maybe we didn't go about it the right way. And then the other thing, I see Mark has a CB's pin on. I don't know if those of you know that during World War II, a huge percentage of the CBs, which are construction battalion, were actually Vermonters. And this equipment broke. It's like, what do you mean it's broken? We work with broken tractors all the time. We can fix this. And I think while staying in our lane, it's our job to try to repair things as we go along, collectively, collaboratively. So we welcome.
Thank you.
It's that stuff I find fascinating. You may hear little anecdotes from time to time, enough to, but that's okay. But anyway, so here we go.
Thank you, Jim. So we're gonna stop there. We're gonna come back here after canvassing, after the floor, and when we come back, we're gonna do a lot of sort of organizing administrative stuff around electing a clerk, figuring out what our committee liaisons are, all that stuff. Mark, go ahead.
And maybe this can wait too.
Yeah.
Again, how would you like us to address each other in committee? I know different committees have it a different way, first names, representative. Well, how would you like us to address each other?
That is a very great question. I think when we are having sort of this kind of getting to know you more informal time together, I think first names are great. And I think once we're really, once we're taking testimony and we have someone in the chair, we're going to go by representative, et cetera. Thank you.
Last name.
Okay, laws is that.
Nice.
We're just gonna do it at once, yes.